European Champions League. Konak through to the last 32. Not bad at all. Club standards are rising in Turkish women's football quickly, and England cannot afford complacency. The referee is Olga Zadanova from the Czech Republic, and it will be Turkey in the all-red kit with the white band who get us off and underway, then kicking from right to left in this first half. Clear night, cooling quickly. Lovely for football though. Perhaps an early little push by Defteli. The referee says no, it's just an England throw-in taken by Bronze. And an early touch of the ball for Gemma Bonner. Perhaps from the goalkeeper now. Here it comes out to her. And Gemma Bonner will head away to Farah Williams. Not for the first time this season, and with the big game coming up on Sunday, not for the last. What a title decider that'll be. A shaky early ball in though from Williams to Jordan Nobbs. Looking for Alex Scott, the Arsenal right back, who's very progressive. She gets ball well into her club mate Ellen White now. Looking for Scott again. She's got goal side danger here already. Duggan's at the far post. England lead 1-0 in the opening 1 minute and 10 seconds. It's taken them just over a minute to open the scoring.
And England just take over where they left off on Saturday. It's a great run by Alex Scott. Again, she gets beyond the left back. She's just far too quick. It's a great ball as well. And the person in the middle there, Tony Duggan. Simplest chance. She's going to put that away. Great start.
Her fourth goal for England. Scored in the Euro finals against Russia. She gets her first of this World Cup qualifying campaign. Here's Aluko. England are hungry for more. Into Carney. Aluko couldn't release it wide to Carney. She might have been offside. In it comes, looking for wide. Duggan to the far post. It's two. 2 goals in the opening 2 minutes. What a start by England again.
Wow. Tony Duggan just cannot believe her luck tonight. 2 goals in 2 minutes. It's got to be a record, surely, in the start of a game. Just pressing high up the pitch. Aluko's pace just causes Turkey problems. Just as it landed, quite lucky there, Karen Carney, to get away with that little bit of a hint of handball, but the ball comes over from Eni Aluko, lands at Tony Duggan. What a great finish that was.
52 seconds between the goals. You know, Saturday's win against Belarus was England's biggest since they thrashed Malta 8-0 in the World Cup qualifier in October 2009. They could get more here tonight. Scott again rampaging against Karadžić.
I was going to say, Jonathan, at the start that Turkey seemed to be pressing higher than Belarus did on Saturday. Leaves quite a lot of space. I think you've just got to make sure the first sort of 5 or 10 minutes, which they haven't done, Turkey, is that they're defensively solid. England have penetrated twice in the first couple of minutes, not the start they wanted.
They found Turkey quite difficult in their previous meetings. 3-0. They won both games in World Cup qualifying for 2011. Great night for Rachel Yankee when they last met, July 2010 it was. She captained the side. It was her 100th cap. She scored. Also hit the woodwork. She's only in the stands tonight. New era, perhaps, for England's women's football. On the field is developing. Off the field as well, with the appointment of an elite manager for the England women's game, plus, of course, a team manager. I believe the interviews will take place on Friday for that job. And Brent Hills is doing everything he can.
Absolutely, he can't do anything more than prepare these girls for, you know, that he was hoping for 2 lots of 3 points, and it looks like he's going to get it, but they've still got to do a professional job. And also, you know, they're giving the likes of Gemma Bonner a first start. That helps, because you want to integrate these good players, these good young players, so that they're involved and they're ready for World Cups, you know, when England get there.
Luko, such a talented player. Nobbs looking for Duggan, who scored a club hat-trick this year against Chelsea. Looking for Ellen White there. Duggan now on a hat-trick herself tonight. Ellen White scored at the weekend, 15th goal for England. Scored against Turkey in that 2010 game as well, did Ellen. And once again, keeps Natasha Dowie out of the side.
Yeah, she does. I mean, Tasha Dowie came on and did well, but I don't know why. She's used to play in that position at 9 for England. She got a goal. She played well actually on Saturday, and you know, I mean, if you've got players scoring, including Dowie as she comes on, then it can only be a really positive thing. You know, you can only beat what's in front of you. These are not top quality sides, Turkey and Belarus, but the girls have to start off positive because of what happened in the summer, and I think they've definitely done that. They're playing good football, they're passing it around and not just lumping it, you know, and it's looking good.
White with a touch off. Carney. She's with a hat-trick Saturday. And then Carrigan under pressure from the stronger Alex Scott, who wins it again. Jordan Nobbs, who played brilliantly against the Belarus. Anything lacking from her performance, we felt, was a goal perhaps. Williams. Away then towards Lucy Bronze. Another newcomer to the side, really. Get away by the fair-haired Ezra Errol, but not too far. England have a free kick. Two-figure there, and Yarmor Uraz giving it away.
It's better pressure from Turkey there. They just need to concentrate on defending the width of that penalty box. The lunge tackle there, put themselves under pressure from the free kick. They've got to do better. High intensity defending. Turkey, they're not doing it at the moment.
Farrah Williams is something of a set-piece expert. She will take this free kick for England. Top scorer in the squad with 36 goals. Just wide. You may have heard there a voice yelling as they took that free kick. That was Brent Hills. He was onto the touchline, very vocal. What wasn't he very happy about there?
I don't know whether he was concerned about the type of free kick or who was taking him. Surely Farrah Williams should have been on it, but he wants it to be perfect tonight. He doesn't want to concede a goal. They don't concede goals, and he didn't want to give Turkey even a sniff that they're going to get back into this game at any point.
They've kept 18 consecutive clean sheets in home qualifying matches for both the World Cup and European Championship since France won 1-0 at Selhurst Park in the World Cup 2003 qualifying playoff game. Unbelievable record. Underneath it. Jordan Nobbs. Phenomenal work rate. The Arsenal midfield player. Very much a youngster, 20 years of age. Here's Aluko. And he's spin from such a talented player. She's gone for the 1-2. Jordan Nobbs was the player who gave it to her. She has the freedom to move forward because she knows Farrah Williams will sit in a little bit of a deeper role.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Jordan Nobbs, and you always look at centre midfield players about which penalty box they affect, and she does both. I mean, she's good going forwards, but if she has to play that sitting role, if she isn't tonight, and she defends well, you know, you've got to be a midfield, you've got to affect one of the penalty boxes, and she, going forward, like we say, she could have scored a goal on Saturday, but she really brings people into play.
Here's Carney. Chance for number 3. Should have been number 3.
I was watching that. He was just going to sneak in that far corner there. As usual, Karen Carney started off bright. She looks fit now. You know, she looks, and she scored that hat-trick, and it's a great take. Just looks like she was going to nestle that into the bottom corner. The keeper didn't look like she could do much about it. Movement by Aluko. Another bright start by Carney.
Missed the early weeks of the season with an injury picked up against Canada in March. Went to the Euros unfit. Wasn't the only one really. And when you're seeing them perform like this, and as they have done over the years, qualifiers, you wonder exactly what did go wrong there in Scandinavia. Here's Duggan slipping away from the fullback so easily. Good save by Fatma Shaheen in the Turkish goal.
A bit between the teeth now, Tony Duggan trying to get a quick hat-trick. Recovered that well. They just look so much stronger and fitter, England, than Turkey, and that's half the effort and the battle, the physicality of it, and being able to pass the ball and move at a high intensity, get back and defend and get forward and attack.
Shaheen, the goalkeeper, and 3 of the back 4 play for the Connacht Belediyespor side. Beat Cardiff 1-0. They won their group, 3 wins in 3. They'll play the Polish side, Unia Rakaports, in the round of 32. It's great progress. qualify for their first ever major finals, that's for sure. They haven't won a competitive game since April 2010. That's a decent enough block there by Sybil Duman. Breaks here then for Chinar. Side. Most experienced Turkish player on the pitch, the captain, Ilgin Deftali, in an offside position.
When Turkey get it, they want to try and move it. They kept it for a few passes, then soon gave it away with an offside.
Luko, lovely run again. Mane's ahead of her. Maybe he chose the wrong option and ran straight into Yağmur Yuras. Given away so cheap. Kani. That's too far through the channel and straight through to Şahin.
There seems to be quite a lot of gaps in between the midfield and defence of Turkey, that players like Luko and Kani are popping up between the lines and just finding an easy route through. Just need to be more compact with the defending. If that just means trying to frustrate England, that's what they need to do. Now they're 2 goals behind, they've got to do something going forward.
Anna and Stoney. The option goes to move across in close. She plays in Sweden for the Dalby club. Nice game with this international level. It's a lovely ball forward. And just offside, Jordan Nobbs. Fine ball though, played forward to her by Eniola Luko.
She's really patient, Jordan Nobbs. A few seconds earlier she'd made that forward run and put it back again and went again. Great movement, just straight, slightly offside. It's just a nightmare for midfielders to track or defenders to defend against when you've got a midfielder who pops up like that.
England have enjoyed 80% of possession in the opening 12 minutes. It's a game they should win and win handsomely. They look for White, overstruck though, the pass by one. Although she's making her debut, there is huge experience in this English side. Many of them are looking to qualify for their 7th tournament, or playing in their 7th tournament, I should say.
So you look at Gemma Bonner as well, Jonathan, and she's played at under-19 levels. She's experienced international level, necessarily senior.
Songoleche, the right back, committed herself there, was lost hopelessly. And again by Williams. Yağmur Yuras playing very deep and getting caught in possession. Williams watched the Turkish training and the warm-up, and Yuras looked as if she didn't want the ball at her feet. She was uncomfortable with the ball at her feet. There she is now. It's better. Decent enough ball through, and do you know what? The flag stayed down. England stepped out. Pinar Yalcin would have been through on goal. Yeah,
she could have curved her run a little bit better, Yalcin. I don't know whether the flag would have gone up, but like you say, they're not going to get that many chances going forward, Jonathan, so they need to take them. I thought they'd be better at closing down. I watched them a little bit in the warm-up and looked like they were work at a higher intensity. They don't look fit enough to last 90 minutes, but they would actually close down a little bit better, but it's just not happening for opening few minutes anyway.
To Lucy Bronze. Cross looking for Eniola Luko. Very distinctive. Only 5'4", born in Lagos, Nigeria. Experienced, 74 caps. Another Sone is at Hull. Scored at the weekend. What a goal it was. Both of them scored. Nobbs. They're not watching the England midfield players or defenders coming forward from the back. They're letting them run freely, Turkey.
Just seem to be following the ball, which is leaving gaps for people like Nobbs and Kani to pop up in.
Moraz gets it away. She was blowing heavily a minute ago as well. Just think, as Lucy was saying, they lack the fitness levels to compete with England in terms of guarding against the runs. Here's Kani.
Sorry, Jonathan, it's going to be a long night, I think, for some of these Turkish players.
There's a brave block at the back. Everybody in the way of that. Dumen. Duggan very nearly in again. Karagench clears. England have conceded just 2 goals in the last 15 home matches, including friendlies. Here against Portugal, as I was saying, 3-0, and when they came in their last World Cup qualifier on this ground, and then they returned, seem to recall, against Denmark a couple of years later, and won that one as well. And friendly, that's a lovely ball, and obviously he's been outstanding so far, looking to bring the fullback in, Lucy Bronze. Sangueche towards Dumen. She seems to be one of Turkey's more accomplished players.
England have obviously been working on getting the full backs forward, and sometimes Turkey are facing a front line of 5 players. It's really difficult to deal with, especially when the movement is so good as well. Puts them under pressure.
Carney, Luko, lovely burst of pace. Carney, didn't get beyond Duraz, you did well enough. Now follows Aluko out. Jordan Nobbs, she was tripped as she went to shoot. Was taken away by Yan Suya.
I definitely think she must have watched Jordan Nobbs in the game against Belarus, just making sure she tee herself up for a long-range shot.
Difficult night for Fatma Shaheen and the Turkish defenders. Tees it up. Ooh, and it flicked the top of the bar.
Good technique. Jordan Nobbs there. Her go this time. Just an inch or so too high. The goalkeeper had it covered. The goalkeeper, usually in games like this, the goalkeeper gets the Player of the Match award for the opposition team. She's under that much pressure throughout the 90 minutes. She's got to perform.
Nominated the PFA Player of the Year this year. 8 goals she scored for Arsenal. Cup winners, but they will not win the league this year. Crystal Academy or Liverpool will only need the draw. There's Knox. Scott goes away down the right hand side. Mara Williams. Good movement by England. As soon as someone comes short, another player went into the hole behind. That was Carney, back to Scott. Sloppy pass though, it's behind Duggan. I know they've been working on that in training. As soon as someone comes in short, someone makes a run in behind.
Absolutely. I mean, if you've got a team that's going to be defending,
there's Aluko again, too high.
A team that's going to be defending stoutly against you, you've got to engage the defenders and move them, create space, and the movement at the start of this game is fantastic, and obviously something that they've worked on. Interchanging of players, particularly in that front three, and the full-backs overlapping.
Dumain got underneath that. Ellen White. And it's got the right back's gone forward again. Carney back to White. Uraz. And they've reached the quarter-final of the last 2 World Cups. They did in 1995. England was on the road to Canada in 2015, the 7th edition of the World Cup finals. Luke into the box, oh, brilliantly done! And a splendid save as well by Shaheen.
So you really see the real quality of Eni Aluko. Like a quick ball played into her, she lets it run through her legs. She's just got that burst of pace through the legs. Keeper did well there, actually.
Williams, Stoney the captain. Jordan Nobbs won't stop running all night. Ellen White, England making the run to the middle. It's bounced off Errol. Scott with the driven cross. Away by Sonal Etche. Cleared out by Yan Suya. She played against England when these two countries last met. Good challenge on Carney. Duggan. Knobs. Away by Dumen. And Suyar. Deftily hasn't really been able to get into the game.
When you've got a star player, as it were, and if they're playing out wide, if you can't get the ball to them, they can't show what they're good at. It doesn't help. The thing about Turkey is they're not passing it more than 3 or 4 times before giving it away. Just need a little bit more composure.
Decent crowd again. They're not using the end behind the goals here, but they played Portugal at Bratton Park in 2002. It drew a then record crowd for the English Women International, 8,800. Once again, Turkey are causing problems through the middle, and Siobhan Chamberlain had to come out and react quickly. Pino Yeltsin was through the middle, and she's got pace, and England were caught there. White Duggan's in the middle and on a hat-trick. Really stretched the game now.
Yeah, it isn't. England won't be particularly happy with that, but you see, even if you're in a poor team and you've got a bit of pace, it causes problems for defenders. It's just what that did, and you've just got to make sure you cover around, leave attackers one-on-one.
First ball up to this level, Yeltsin. It's bright through the middle. Knobs loses out. Shinar. This is Gungo. Born in Sweden, in Malmö. Gone for goal, and hits the woodwork. England need to wake up a little bit.
A little bit of a warning there for England, throwing all the players forward. Needing 3 or 4 defending, but that's worth an effort. Siobhan Chamberlain was worried about that enough. Stretch for it, hit the crossbar. It's a couple of times now in the last couple of minutes, Turkey have just seen a little bit of hope, which England don't want to give them. They've got hope going forwards. Be careful when you're defending. Think about when you go forward, what if you lose it?
For White. Maybe caught a little bit late. Oh, the keeper came completely missed it. Duggan. Shaheen recovered well. Luko, forced wide. Deftily. Was fouled by the England midfield player. It's a free kick to Turkey. Just thinking of Leyla Gungo though. She comes from an early decent Turkish under-19 side, and at that level, they've beaten Russia recently. She's got a hat-trick against Iceland in the under-19 qualifying game played in Llanelli, that was. As England warm up, Jill Scott there and Steph Horton.
They're not going to be, individual players will be good, it's just that they're not getting in those positions. As soon as they do, you can't give them that much room. It's at international level. Good players who can finish.
I really had a break in play for me to ask you the question. What do you think about Danielle Carter, Jess Clark and Rachel Yankee again being left in the stands as they were against Belarus? Should they have played some role here, even if it was on the end?
Interesting that Dan Carter is the one I don't really understand. You know, bringing her into the senior squad, you'd think that you'd at least have her on the bench to give her some time of it, particularly as you sort of knew that the way that the games would probably pan out. So it's interesting Brent Hills has kept the same 3 in the stands. Usually they interchange different people in the stands. Obviously he knows what Rachel Yankee can do, but Jess Clark has an opportunity to prove herself, and Danny Carter, you know, she's shown how good, and now she scores goals for Arsenal this season and maybe deserves a chance. What do I know? It's just an interesting choice.
Here's Carney. Knobs. Bonner and Stoney have switched. Bonner's now gone to the left of the centre-back pairing, Williams.
Interesting, Jonathan, because the 2 centre-halves play together at Lincoln, the ones from Saturday's game with Sophie Bradley. These 2 don't play together at club level. I do think that has a bit of an effect, particularly if one plays right and then has to switch to left at international level, and it's Gemma Bonner's first start. You know, all that may have an effect. I think when you play together at club level and you've got that understanding, you know, it's really useful at this level.
Here's Gungur again. Trying to find Defteli.
See, all of a sudden Turkey now thinking, Just a little bit of encouragement from England that they can throw enough players forward at the right times and break quickly in effective areas, then they may have opportunities on goal.
Steps Israel. It's cleared away by Karagench. On the run here for Yeltsin. She's speedy, and she has those two centre-halves worried.
Yeltsin is really causing problems with her pace. A couple of times, one ball's just beaten both the centre-halves and the back four. She just didn't have the quality on the end. That's not to say that she won't do throughout this game. The more chances she get, she looks a little bit of discomfort here on the side.
I don't know whether she pulled something as she went through onto that ball. She's certainly worried. Scott has it meanwhile for England. So Aniola Aluko. Jordan Knox. Farrah Williams will have a go at goal from there. It's a goal kick. England think it should have been a corner.
I think the keeper realises that she's slightly lucky there. That's what I love about Farrah Williams. It doesn't matter what foot it lands on. Yeah, touched by the keeper. In fact, it was a good save. Doesn't matter what foot it lands on, she can strike it with both feet.
Well, the Czech Republic referee is coming over to check on Bina Yeltsin. She's been Turkey's brightest player, that's for certain. But she went down moments after threatening the English defence. The most important thing for the English women's group at the moment is the way they've recovered from the European disappointment. It's horribly disappointing. This injury.
I don't know whether it was as she reached for the ball. She just felt the stomach as she was walking past.
But the way they've recovered, they just got over it very, very quickly. The fixture list was kind to them, let's be honest, with these two games. But, you know, he's done really good work as well to get them over that hangover. Now, here's Carney. Luko, just about blocked. Carney follows up. White was on the side. Poor defending then in the middle, they didn't come out. Here's Stoney. Turkey at the moment, under 10 players. Alex Scott. White. Carney in here. And just turned round the post by Sybil Dumet. Good clearance facing her own goal.
Again, a good run by Karen Carney, just in between the centre-halves and the full-backs. That's where she wants it put in. Just puts the defender under pressure there.
Corner kick taken quickly. Luko! And the diving header just over. Ellen White flung herself at it.
Definitely capable of that. Head on the end of crosses. It's quite unlucky, actually. Ball came in low and she was just trying to get that glancing header onto it.
Never lets her head go down, actually, when she's had chances. Saw that in the FA Cup final. Kept plugging away. In the end, she got her goal.
Yeah, she's such a positive player. She just forgets about mistakes, gets on with it, and obviously scoring in the last game will help her confidence.
Barney looks for White.
But she's a real worker. She works really, really hard, Jonathan. That, you know, as a number 9 centre forward.
10 attempts on goal. Turkey the one. The bar. With that player there, Leila Gungor, plays for the Limhamn club in Sweden. Now Ellen White, surely this time the keeper's come out quickly, and Ellen White simply took it wide and tucked it home, and England lead Turkey by 3-0 inside half an hour.
They deserve that. Ellen White, great straight ball through from Farrah Williams, just set Ellen White free. Good run, stayed onside. A lot of time to think about it, decide what you're going to do and then do it. I mean, the keeper made it easy in the end by falling over in front of her, but she knew that she was going to take it round the keeper. Finished with much confidence.
A lovely finish by the Arsenal striker. Turkey still 10 out there. Treatment continuing for Yeltsin. That's a major problem. She has a rib cage injury.
Well diagnosing that on the sideline. A rib cage injury. She definitely pulled something. I think it must be muscular. Didn't really have any contact with anybody.
Well, if she was going to go off, she's made a dramatic recovery. She's back on the field of play, I can tell you. Yeltsin. And I can tell you, Turkey have told the substitute to sit down. They had a replacement lined up. Here's Karen Carney. Duggan's at the far post. Overstruck the cross. Was she going for goal? Was she trying to find a teammate?
Well, she was caught in two minds there. Karen Carney getting lots of joy down this right-hand side. Just not picking her up, not chasing her back.
Concern for the Turkish bench. The director is known as Mustafa Gulen, who was in charge of their Euro 13 qualifying campaign. Karagenç clears it away. Scott was settled for the throw. That qualifying campaign wasn't greatly successful. 1 point gained from 10 matches, 4 goals scored and 48 conceded. And a point against Kazakhstan at home.
They must target the games that they think they're going to get points from, where the draws or they've got chances and maybe damage limitations in the big guns like England. But they've got to learn from these games, that's the thing. Otherwise they're not going to progress as a nation. How to defend against quick and players with great movement.
She's okay now, Pina Yeltsin up front, it would seem. Here's Bonner. They're way below Belarus in the world rankings, Lucy, but I think they're a better side than Belarus.
Yeah, I just think they've got a greater intensity to the way that they play. They must have watched England play against Belarus and tried to do better.
Here's Carney into Duggan. It took a deflection. Aluko was in there. She will claim the goal. England are 4-0 up. It's another smashing night. Early steps are being taken on the long, long road to Canada and the World Cup finals in 2015, but they are progressive steps.
I really can't cope with Tony Duggan. It's a lovely little touch from Eni Aluko just to slide the ball past the goalkeeper. She's got in on the act as well. I'm sure many players tonight for England will try and get in on the act of scoring goals. Lots of confidence and get themselves in the positions where they can score goals. Unselfish there by Duggan.
She's had a miserable end of the season at club level with Chelsea, who lost 10 of their last 11 games, but she's in fine form for her country, Aluko. Scored at the weekend, scored again here. It's 4 in 7 now, 4 goals and 7 internationals. Altogether for England 17. An article from her saying she's one of the most experienced around at the moment, but she's only 26.
It's crazy, isn't it? When you make the debut so young.
Jordan Nobbs looking for White. He tumbled under the pressure of Karagenç's challenge. Nick Scott helping a teammate out. That's too easy. Looking for Aluko. Going to be cleared away by Erol. Individually, Turkey have talent, but the front three, especially on the right-hand side, Deftali, Gungor playing in behind in Yeltsin, but as a team, defensively, they're hopeless. Just can't cope with any sort of running they make.
And then it's just so difficult for the front three if they don't get it. No matter what run they make, if the teammates don't find them, and then they just put under pressure when they're conceding goals like this. Just got to find a way to include and use to the potential the good players that they've got in the team.
Only beat the team in front of you, that's what we were saying at the weekend, and England are playing very well.
Yeah, really impressive, continuing from Saturday, but really impressive. Like you said before, from the summer, this is the best that they could have done. It's so positive, you know, the girls are working at high intensity, you know, and they're beating teams well, and they don't even look like they're having a wobble at all.
Turkey are warming up a substitute. Looks to me like Emin Esen, the Kamliashpor side. experience against home nations before. She played against Wales and Scotland in an under-19 qualification campaign. Again, young Turkish player stepping up from the junior internationals. There's 20 caps at junior level. I think she's going to come on any moment. She's a midfield player, accomplished forward. Luko. Williams always makes herself available for a pass. Luko's having a storming night. Brilliant. Knobs. Duggan awaits on the left-hand side. Bronze. Good tidy football. Carney. Luko. Maybe a bit adventurous. Just opened the face of a boot up too much and slanted it away.
Just the way that England are moving the ball about. Technically they look very good, the passes are crisp, they're finding feet, and they're finding the runs of their players.
Luko. Duggan's in here on a hat-trick, and she absolutely buried that. England 5-0 up.
I think for me that was all about which player wanted the ball more here. Tony Duggan was just going to make sure that this ball was hers. Just uses her pace to get past. That's a great finish past the goalkeeper. That's terrific stuff from the youngster, full of confidence. And this is why we talk about playing good youngsters. No fear, lots of confidence. Just take us to the next level.
She has a hat-trick. She's doubled her tally of England goals in one night. In the meantime, Turkey have made a substitution. It is indeed Etienne Esen who's come on, and the player who's gone off is Jansu Ya, who lacked a bit of mobility there. First half hat-trick for Carney on Saturday, first half hat-trick for Duggan tonight. They really have blown away those cobwebs from the summer. I wonder what the first English internationals ever to play on this ground would have thought about it. 1903 it was, the great Vivian Woodward scored one of England's goals. They beat Wales 2-1 in the home nations. Luko.
I think these have probably been better, Jonathan.
They would have been faster and fitter. That's for sure. Deb Tilley. One of the great mysteries, though, Vivian Woodward. He was such a brilliant player, according to all the reports and the books you read. Little's known about him. Into White! That's a terrific goal, and England have 6. What a lovely goal. Beautiful ball in from the left-hand side. She stole away from her marker and gets her second of the night.
Yeah, Ellen White has the ability to score goals with her head. Perfect for a centre forward. She followed the flight of the ball. Great ball from Karen Carney. Bullet header. And the keeper just watched that go past. It's a rout already.
She took it brilliantly. It was a fabulous goal. And England have been quite lethal in the opening 40 minutes.
Seems that every time they've got some sort of really good opportunity that England score. And I think that's great practice. I mean, when you're playing better teams, you know, the probability you've got to score as many chances that as you possibly can.
Bonner. Watched it all the way when it came back to her, Gemma Bonner. Six-0 up England, but Siobhan Chamberlain's actually had a busier night for her coach. And Saturday's goalkeeper, Rachel Brown. Can't remember her having a good shot to save.
I saw her afterwards and I said she could have put a kit straight back in the skip without washing it. Little amount to do, but I think Siobhan wants to be involved. That type of keeper, she wants to be involved, but she'll be quite happy to keep this scoreline at 0.
If you're wondering where Karen Bardsley is, by the way, the Lincoln goalkeeper is injured. She had a little bit of illness as well over the weekend, and I think England are doing exactly the right thing. You know, they have a massive Continental Cup final coming up against Arsenal for the club, and I think they're being eminently sensible with that. Hasn't been a night without work for the England centre half. It's been a great night for Tony Duggan.
Yeah, I just think the pace of the Turkish forwards have caused a few problems. Casey Stoney and Gemma Bonnet, nothing that they can't deal with, but just kept them on the toes throughout this first half.
Skipping away from a challenge. Ooh, she went strongly into that tackle though, and that could bring her a problem. Ball run away, poor final touch from her. She followed through with the challenge. She's has her error there.
I'm surprised to see actually Lucy Broad. I think it's to the last minute she bent her legs. A serious knee injury in the last few years. It's definitely, this is not the game or the challenge that you would want to go into and risk another injury like that, but thankfully she's all right. A little bit of a limp. She realised at the last second that she wasn't going to win that without getting hurt.
Caution for the tackle. Can't complain. One of the 4 English women to cross Merseyside last winter from Everton to Liverpool. Game in the group, you may or may not be in charge. Wales at the New Den in October, and you can see on the BBC. And they go to Turkey until the 31st and resume the campaign in the spring and April, home to Montenegro and Ukraine. For Janssen. Going to the break again. Aluko. Nobbs. So quickly, it's Jordan Nobbs, only 5'3". Such a terrific engine. Williams, Stoney, there's Lucy Bronze. No slacking. Still an intensity about their play. There's good movement.
Yeah, they just want to keep going with this. You've got to be ruthless as a team. Keep scoring goals if you can score goals. Keep doing the right things. Keep doing the simple things right. Because when you play the better teams, you'll need to do that all the time. You'll need to defend as well.
Errol clears it away. Quickly whipped around the corner by Chinar. I think it's fair to say that England's record of 35 unbeaten qualifying matches is going to continue, although they have a bit of a problem here.
Sticking your neck out there, Jonathan.
Aaron Carney's got a bit of an injury. They did take her off on Saturday, but that was with this game in mind.
Just a follow through. Just think she just stood on Karen Carney's foot there. Errol.
Errol's one of the Konak Belediyespor Turkish champions. Scotland lead Bosnia and Herzegovina 1-0. Lisa Evans on 8 minutes. They won their opener as well. Good start by Scotland. That's in Group 4. England playing in Group 6. There's Farah Williams. You know, she won't attract the headlines, but she's very much been with Jordan Nobbs. The metronomes in there dictating England's pace and tempo. Duggan away towards Aluko. He's had a fantastic night so far, full of trickery. And oh, so very nearly a seventh. Carney got in.
Shaheen, the goalkeeper, thought that was in there. She's got herself in a great position, Karen Carney, just wide of the post. People look worried.
Scored in the Euro 2009 finals. In the final game, then England were beaten by Germany. There's Alex Scott. White should be the keepers. She made a meal of that. I think the English player challenging her was little Eniolo Luko. Deftily. Towards Janssen. The ball was making the supporting run through the middle. Half-time at Fratton Park. England lead by 6-0. Tony Duggan, a fantastic hat-trick. Ellen White with 2 more. Eniolo Luko with the other England strike. They are dominant again at half-time. It's a romp. England 6, Turkey 0. Thanks very much, Jackie. Well, Brent Hills has resisted the temptation to make any changes at half-time. No changes in the Turkey 11 either. Don't forget, they've already made one substitution. SN on for Yar. The heart of their midfield. England 6-0 up. Hat-trick for Duggan, 2 for White, 1 for Aluko. Record England scored 13-0. Away in Hungary in October 2005. I wonder if they'll go for that. Stoney, the captain, to Jordan Nobbs. Already Turkey pressing a little bit higher, with a little bit more intensity than they did in the first half. Aluko, dropping into space. Finding the ball, looking to create, is Alex Scott. Williams to Nobbs. And Turkey failed to track her run. Well, too much zip. She's offside anyway, Tony Duggan. I think it's a goal kick, but yes, they're pressing a little bit with more intensity further up the pitch, but already an English runner has created danger.
Yeah, they've got to be careful. Turkey, they've all got to do it if they're going to press, because it's just be easy to England to play around them, as we've seen in the first half. England's ability to pass and move and get forward with incisive passing has been excellent tonight. We just need to be aware that they don't leave too many spaces when they're pressing high.
Turkish goalkeeper, Fatma Shahin, seemed to be distraught as she came off at the end of the first half. Her teammates were consoling her, but without her, England would have been 8-0 up. She made two terrific saves, one from Aluko that was an excellent stop indeed.
Yeah, it's difficult for her because she's really got that much protection. She made a couple of saves, like you said, so she's always going to be under pressure and she's going to save them all.
I think it's fair to say England will still be top of the group come the end of the evening. There's Jordan Nobbs. Long way to go though. Secure games up and coming, and the two matches against Wales will be really competitive affairs. Zaluka. Harder. Good run. Duggan awaits. Perfectly timed pass. Two in the middle to him. Duggan. Carney. Misunderstanding. Lucy Bronze is on the touchline. Duggan full of confidence. Carney. Trying to find Duggan once again and eventually gets it through. Takes up the cross. Nobbs coming in. And away very cheaply once again. It was Chinar who gave it away. Carney. Jordan Nobbs. Aluko. It's for 7. Scuffed it. Errol's clearance was a bit panicky, but whatever she does tonight, she's creating danger. Eniola Aluko.
She actually did really, really well at the ball out of the feet and wide. She just couldn't equal that with the finish.
Jordan Nobbs. Back into Ellen White. She's on a hat-trick too. Keeper sprawls initially. Oh, and it's number 7. And Aluko gets the final touch. The touch that denies her teammate a hat-trick, and it's England 7, Turkey 0.
Really composed play by Ellen White there. Got herself round the keeper, didn't go down. She knew there was a better chance of scoring. And any Aluko scoring with her head, I don't think she does many of that. They were all laughing and touching her forehead. She's done well tonight. Both of them have done well tonight. Simple
well, she
finish.
needed to make the touch, didn't she? Because it wasn't going in.
Absolutely. She definitely claimed that one.
And one of the smallest players on the pitch gets a headed goal. Here's Carney. England starting the second half as they started the first. If you've just joined us, they were 2-0 up in 2 minutes, and they've gone for another one. She's always been able to strike the ball well, right from her very early days at Chelsea, when she answered an advert for under 14 players and scored a hat-trick on her debut.
She saw Shaheen hopelessly out of position in her goal. It wasn't far away and the ball just moves in the air. You saw that, we're right behind that.
Certainly Yalçın has been Turkey's brightest player. For Gungor. They combine well at times. Chamberlain got it away. A few hearts in mouths there, perhaps. Here's Carney. Williams pass. White drifted wide. Came infield and knew her teammate Martin Alex Scott will be somewhere there or thereabouts. Loves getting forward, doesn't she? She was a forward.
Yeah, she loves scoring goals. She's just a frustrated forward now, but it helps England because they just put teams under pressure down those flanks, push the fullbacks forward, and Alex Scott is one of the best in the world at doing that.
Karagenç clears. Williams, no pressure on at all. Aluko. That was a bit sloppy, that pass. Indefinitely cut out by Bonner.
Turkey have got to decide whereabouts they start the pressure on England and wait till they get into that middle third and over the halfway line, which is what they seem to be doing, but then making sure they use the ball when they get it and counter-attack in the right areas. They've got quick players. If they can get into space, then they could be effective going forwards. But a pass like that is not going to help anything.
Leila Gungur. She's already deep into the season in Sweden. She played 22 times, but the Turkish league doesn't pick up again until November. Maybe it's a reason why one of the Turkish players don't look fit. Here's Duggan. She's offside. It won't count. Lovely ball through to her. I'd like to see this one again because I think that's fairly tight.
Yeah, her runs in the first half were quite good.
She's level, I think.
I'd say she'd level. I mean, she was moving quite quickly. You could forgive the assistant referee not looking at that instant. It was another great run.
Uruz. Rather wasted. Message has come out from the England bench to Jordan Nobbs. She just put the thumbs up back to the bench. For Carney. Che went to ground and made the tackle. Duggan. Turkey quite happy just to clear their lines. Etche it was who got it away. All of the Turkish players came through the younger international teams together. Started off playing against Macedonia in January 2006, and they've been together as a group since then, coming through. Some of them were only 15 at that time.
Just from first proper look at them, I'll just say that physically they need to be fitter. I think if they did that, then the effectiveness of some of the technical and the quick players up front would work just a little bit better. I think I was just saying, looking there at Lucy Bronze, she's not done a chances of further inclusion in these qualifiers any harm whatsoever the last couple of games. As I said, a full-back, left full-back, right-footed left full-back, but she's done really, really well getting forwards.
Right for the Scots as well there. You saw 3-0 up. Little and Ross getting the other goals. There's Nobbs. White with a little header on, Alukla's in there. You twist your spin. As Jackie was saying early on, do you make changes now? Do you bring Tash Dowie on? What do you do?
Well, I think, you'd be looking at, you have to be careful with it if you get any injuries, but definitely the likes of the younger players like Jade Moore, perhaps, because if Farrah Williams or Jordan Nobbs are injured and you want to introduce any more younger players, then the more experience you give the likes of Jade Moore at this level, she breaks up play really, really well. Got a little taste of it on Saturday, but you'd look to introduce those players who are going to take you forward.
It wouldn't surprise me if Natasha Dowie didn't come on, because she's got a massive game at the weekend and she's so important for Liverpool. She's the top scorer for Liverpool.
Yeah, I'm sure Matt Beard's been on the phone to Brent Hill saying, please be careful with my players, as Mark Sampson about Siobhan Chamberlain, Bristol player. It's so key. This game's won now. These two games going to be won. I just want to stop any injuries.
Gungo. Bonner got across. Did well. Knocked out by captain Casey Stoney. Siobhan Chamberlain has been in fantastic form for Bristol Academy. Just looking elsewhere there on the bench. Steph Horton might come on. Sophie Bradley played at the weekend. Anita Sante could come on and sit in midfield. Jade Moore. Only 6 caps. Chance to have a look at her. There's Natasha Dowie. The season she's had for Liverpool since crossing the divide from Everton. 20 goals in 19 games this season. Essen. Gungur. Suspicion of a handball against Farrah Williams, not given. Uruz. Quickly on by Dumen. Given away. Dumen back in there again. Jordan Nobbs to Ellen White. Alex Scott. Lovely teamwork. Duggan with the header over, but it was really well played, England.
Yeah, it really deserved a goal. Again, Good understanding down that right-hand side, this time between Alex Scott and Ellen White. Really confident back heel, and that's a great whip ball in by Ellen White. Just couldn't be matched by the finish from Toni Duggan. She's done all right so far.
Suspicion of a little push there, perhaps by Teffatili. Gungur. Uraz. She thought she was clipped. Play on. Carney. Williams. Uraz is very quickly on her feet, I can tell you. Scott. Flashing cross pushed away. When Ellen White goes into those wide positions, she's dangerous out there.
She is, and she plays quite a lot out wide for Arsenal. They sort of tend to switch about their front three, so she's well used to putting those crosses in. This one not quite as good as the one just before. A lot of pace. The goalkeeper under pressure.
Well, you know, I said I wouldn't be surprised if Natasha Dowie didn't come on.
You can hear you. Just put her straight on.
She's about to come on.
I wonder how much of a mind is on Sunday's game, Jonathan. It'd be interesting. I mean, I know this is a massive game for playing for England, but that's probably the biggest game she's played in club-wise on Sunday.
Ellen White, Alex Scott. Centre half's missed it. Carney, Duggan! England are 7-0 up. They could have had 11. Deflected on the way through. Here comes England's substitution. Aniola Aluko goes away. And on comes Tash Dowie. Scored at the weekend, her first goal for England, having come on as a substitute. It was her first appearance since September 2011. Aluko's been fantastic.
Tash Dowie looks like she's got some sort of strapping around her left thigh. Again, Liverpool manager Matt Beard will be watching this thinking, please don't get her injured.
On the edge of the 6-yard area. Pressurising with her first effort in the game. Errol got it away, launched back in by Alex Scott. Definitely missed it. Gungur tried to win it back. You can tell she's played more football than the other Turkish players out there, Gungur in midfield.
Yeah, a little bit more accomplished technically, a bit more of an idea of the game, a bit more game-wise than the others, and some of the others.
Into Jordan Nobbs. Slipped away from her, but she always wants the ball. It's a great sign, that.
Yeah, it is, because even if you make a mistake, she's always brave enough to get the ball under pressure. That's the markings of a good player. It's a lot of Turkish fans. I can hear them. They're all dancing now. He's got his sunglasses on, I don't know what for.
I wonder if they've ever heard of the Pompey Chimes. That's right, this is a good run. Roof of the net. Gone out wide to the right with Natasha Dowie on in the middle.
They're getting lots of joy behind the left back like England did in the first half. Well, they're not feeling any sort of cold whatsoever.
My first visit here came in the 60s. My dad brought me just to hear the Pompey Chimes. He said, just come down, I'll take you to the ground, you'll hear a fantastic atmosphere. And he was absolutely right. It's quite unique when they get going. Fans have played a heroic part in keeping this football club alive, that's for sure. England 7 at Turkey 0, half an hour to play.
The number of Turkey fans in the crowd actually helping the atmosphere, because the England fans are chanting back at them. It's quite lively out there.
This goes the captain, Stoney, and partner Gemma Bonner. Haven't had too much to do in this second half.
Great game for Gemma Bonner to play in, to ease herself in there.
10 on target, 1 on target for Turkey, though they did hit the woodwork in the first half. And England totally dominant. Duggan, Dowie, the half turn, Ellen White, Alex Scott is there. over the bar. Scored against Turkey in November 2009 away.
I think she was quite expecting that to be knocked by as good as a selfish play by Tash Dowett. She was quite expecting that from Ellen White. Steady herself right. She's capable of scoring from there.
Duggan. She's flipped off her toes by Bilin deftly. Here comes another England substitution. Jill Scott's got to come on. Karen Carney goes off. Oh, she's had a very good week. Jill Scott, who came on against Belarus, comes on again for her 72nd England cap. Knox. Hooked away by Errol. Jill Scott will simply sit in there, will she, and let maybe Jordan Nobbs have a more advanced role? Oh, Jordan Nobbs gets up and back all day long anyway.
She plays. Yeah, I think so. I think just freeze. Jordan Nobbs. It's just.
Here's Tasha Dowie.
She's got to pick her runs out, as she has done. Jordan Nobbs and getting involved in the melee. Her runs beyond the strikers are key. If you've got a midfielder that can do that, then it causes a whole host of problems.
Tasha Dowie had an immediate impact on Saturday, coming on. She scored within a couple of minutes, says Farrell Williams, her Liverpool teammate. Gungor. Now she's released deftly. And Lucy Bronze simply gobbled up the ground and got back and won it with consummate ease there.
That's what happens when you're just a little bit fitter and quite quick. It's just easier for you to play the game.
Mara Williams. A huge gulf between England and the likes of Turkey and Belarus. We've seen, though, in the summer, a gulf between England and the top European nations. And how much work and how quickly can we close that gap on the likes of the USA and Germany and so on?
I do think that there was a little bit of a blip in the summer. It obviously highlighted a few things, and paying attention to those now, you know, and you get more teams professional, then you can just see that standard rise, and you are competing with those players. Because individually, we've got players that are as good as some of these players at Germany and the USA, etc. It's just as a team, we just needed to show that, and hopefully the World Cup in Canada is the place where England will show that.
Just a concern for Lucy Bronze a moment ago. She's stayed forward on the left-hand side. Creep into your picture there. She got with a knock on the ankle. She's okay though. Here's Nobbs. She finds Scott. And White chases up after it. Cara Gench was there.
It's the first bad touch Ellen White's had all night.
Jill Scott. Corner to England.
Jill Scott's lanky legs, and she caused hassle there. Errol defending. We've got her team in the corner.
24 nations will be at the 2015 finals. 8 from UEFA. And it comes. The header was by Dowie. Bronze. That hit a hand. I think that may well have bounced up and hit Songoleche on the hand.
I think it did, because the whole crowd behind where it happened all shouted handball right at the same time. Whether it was intentional or not is another thing. I think the ball in from Lucy Bronze just hit her elbow there, you see. It's always an argument whether players, where are they supposed to put their hands? You know, how far away is too close or too far away? It's a difficult one for a referee, especially when they only see it in real time.
Williams with a header. Bronze. One-two play with Duggan. Liverpool will hope to see more of that at the weekend. And the Women's Super League comes to a crunch Liverpool league leaders against Bristol Academy, who are 2 points behind them going into their final game. Bronze. Jordan Nobbs. Can't help thinking that Pina Yeltsin, who was bright early on, just as I say that, she's holding her side again there, walking towards the near touchline, was affected more than the Turkish management thought when they send her back on, because she was dangerous in the opening 15 minutes. She was making penetrating runs. She picked up the injury, and she's grimacing there. She simply hasn't been anything like the player she was in those opening stages.
No, but I think because of the opportunity she's had, gave her the motivation to stay on and try to sort of push forward and try and get goals, but she's obviously struggling at the moment now. She's pulled her stomach muscle, and that's incredibly painful.
Williams. Sasha Dowie. Good turn, but she was allowed to turn and played away. Now Bronze. Bonner, Jill Scott, cut the pass through, and it's cleared away by Sibel Dumen.
It's a good ball through. Not really anybody England at the end of it, but Turkey just caused their own problems by not dealing with it quickly.
Alex Scott, Ellen White, Givadao in the middle, didn't make great contact, and a super save, Fatma Shaheen. She might have been distraught at half-time, but she's kept the scoreline down to single figures. Jill Scott. Good piece of control by Bonner. England look for Dowie around the keeper, but the touch was too heavy.
Dowie's just aware of the keeper coming in, rushing in.
She's given the corner here, I think.
Look at this. Dowie's header just appeared to be in slow motion. It's a great reach and save. Shine.
And as England prepared to take the corner, Pina Yeltsin finally makes way. She's being replaced by Gamze Itkili from the Connacht Bucaspor Club. England look for an 8. Bonner got in underneath it.
Look there, like Gemma Bonner was going to have a free header on goal. One outcome of that, just managed to get in the way. Better defending by Turkey.
Turkish substitute, Ishicili, has got a good scoring record at club level for Connacht. There's a few problems. Here's Jill Scott. Smacked into Errol. Around the corner by Nobbs. Again, good awareness by Dumen. One bright spot for spark for Turkey has been Dumen. She hardly featured in the European Championship qualifying. She made one substitute appearance, and she's come through this World Cup qualifying campaign, and it's quite accomplished. Now there's the substitute, Ishkajili. She plays for Connacht, the champion. She scored 62 goals in 72 games for them. Nobbs, lovely touch. Dowie. Jill Scott's offside. Time to run too early.
Jill Scott's run forward then. I think she expected it to be played into her, and I have to say she'd wandered offside. Good play. Tash Dowie and Jordan Nobbs. Just strayed a little.
Sent Dowie away. Errol was there. Into Essen. Giving the ball away needlessly at times. I think Turkey will look on the second half as something of a success story, to be honest.
Well, I suspect at half-time, they've been told, try and keep the score down, try and do better than they did in the first half, but all damage limitation. Like I say, everything they do is geared towards the games that they think they can take points from in this qualifying campaign. This is not one of them.
When you travel to vastly superior opposition, I think one of the things the coach will tell you is make sure we're tight in the first 5 minutes. Don't give anything away in the first 5 minutes. They were 2 down after 2. Here's Dowie. Done by Nobbs. Dowie just offside. Just offside. That looked tight to me.
First I thought she'd blown for handball, but the assistant's flag is up. Again, good understanding between see the left back playing her on. She's definitely playing her on. She didn't get the opportunity in the end, but it's good play again by England.
Here's Ellen White. 7 up. 18 minutes to go. Lead away by Carrigan. Scott in a change with Williams. Duggan came short and spun away. That's good play and a lovely scoop pass to her. Two at the far post. Well, I think if she'd gone down a little bit less theatrically and quicker, it would have been a penalty. Because Dooman didn't get anything of the ball, that's for sure.
Far too honest, Tony Duggan. I think if this had been a tight 0-0 game, and she felt the contact there, it's a great little ball by Farrah Williams. And she just delayed when she was going to cross it. I mean, she just he took her out there. I mean, she didn't go down properly, and if there is such a thing, I think if she'd have gone down from the challenge, the referee would have had a decision to make.
I think she took the extra half stride, didn't she, and then went down. Bonner. Alex Scott, Jill Scott. Back again by Williams. She was fouled. That's a good spot by the referee. So I think the break in play will allow England to make their final substitution. I'm going to get Steph Horton on. Not yet. And away again, Jill Scott. Trying to find Alex Scott. And away by Chinar. Buraz was caught dawdling. Here's Natasha Dowie. This time she's in, and this time she scores. And England have 8. England 8. Turkey 0.
That really is a sign of a striker on excellent form. She watched the interchange between her two teammates. Again, excellent work by Jordan Nobbs, just recognising Jill Scott. Saw the run of Tash Dowie, slid the ball across the goalkeeper. That's a sign of a confident player. Tash Dowie definitely is. A quick look at the keeper, knows exactly where the goal is. That doesn't move. Finish with aplomb.
2 in 5 days for Natasha Dowie for England, who have made their final substitution. Steph Horton has come on. Such a wonderful Olympics, such a disappointing summer though for England. And she comes and goes to catch it. Jordan Nobbs trying to get amongst the goals. It's Horton to bronze. Buraz. England won't want to concede. One back by Bronze. Jill Scott. Williams. The Turkish striker that went off, Nina Yeltsin, has gone to the hospital. An X-ray on her ribs. She injured herself running though. It wasn't a contact injury. Jordan Nobbs. Just keeping it simple. 5-6 yard passes, making the ball do all the work. Here's Farrell Williams, she's been excellent back in there as well. Slightly short for Natasha Dowie. Been very good performances all round by all the English women.
Yeah, they couldn't have done any better, and you know that they've done what they had to do, and they've done it with style. Scored lots of goals, some excellent play, excellent movement, passing. Technically looked very good, looked fit. So they couldn't have done any more in these 2 games.
And should he never get another England game as coach or manager, not bad for the CV. Played 2-1-2, goals 14 goals against nil.
That'd be at the top of my CV, by the way.
What a record. Good ass. Trying to get it over the top. He's actually grown in composure as the game has gone on, Yağmur Uraz. Turkey came out at the start of the evening, wanted the pace of the game, they looked startled. They were out of it before we'd really even got going. Because of Tony Duggan. 2 goals in the opening 2 minutes. Here's Grants. Just deflected away from Knobs. Cleared out by Etche. Get another chance now. Songwell Etche. Chile. Tumbles, no free kick given. Farrell Williams. Jill Scott. Here's the goal. Sails it over. Attempts on goal to the 1 by Turkey.
And the high majority of those have been top quality attempts. One's on target anyway.
Half of England's attempts hit the target. Their biggest win since they hit X against Malta in October 2009. It was a World Cup qualifying campaign. An England throw.
6,293.
Bonner. 6,293 the crowd. Alex Scott. Helen White. Vidal in the middle. Keeper's done very well for Turkey. Had a couple of games in the European qualifiers. Germany put 10 past her. Spain put 4 past her on the way to a 10-1 victory. She came on that day as a sub. Here's Williams. Now he left it for Duggan, and vice versa. Etche. Gives it away. Scott, Dowie. That's how to do it. Well, until then. Here's Uraz. And that's decent. It's just offside.
They've shown glimpses sometimes going forward, Turkey, but just not enough to really trouble England. A couple of players that have shown sparks.
She made a debut in July 2010 when England beat Turkey 3-0 in Warsaw. And they defended very well that night, Turkey. And the major problem for them tonight, defence has gone missing too often. Or here, defensive midfield has gone missing in particular. They simply haven't tracked runners. Bronze takes it again from Duggan. On to Jordan Nobbs.
I really want to see Jordan Nobbs score a goal. I think her 2 performances this week definitely deserve that. She's created for others. She's been instrumental with how England play. But I know she'll probably come away and think, well, maybe in all these goals being scored, I should have been one of them.
Wales are 1-0 up to Belarus. Ward getting the goal. Lambert saw it for Wales, I beg your pardon. Lambert scoring for Wales. Lander scoring for Wales even. And Scotland 4-0 up. Corsi with the 4.
It is actually Ward. She did get married, Lander. So you were right the first time. See how I stick up for you, Jonathan?
Tonight. It was the first time, isn't it? A bit late now. 8-0 to England. So, now we're testing the middle. Tussling in the middle, it's gone to the far post, Horton! From 4 yards out, she should have scored England's 9th.
I really thought that was going to nestle in the back of the net. Seeing my ex-teammate Steph Horton, when she goes for a header like that, usually one outcome. I'm disappointed.
If you thought from that shot we've just seen there is a extraordinary camber on this pitch, there is. You can see it there as the camera just pans out. Most pitches are cambered.
Particularly at that end, at both ends, if you look at both goals, very similar.
Oh, now England are themselves in a bit of a pickle there. One goal was nearly in. Just for the first time in this second half, Gemma Bonner lost her bearings. Important for her, though, throughout this game, she had Casey Stoney with her talking her way through the game. There's Williams. Oh, that's a good ball by Dowie. And Scott's just ran away.
One of those balls where
Faye White has picked player of the match. It's Tony Duggan.
well deserved. Great goal scoring effort tonight, full of confidence, full of running.
Tilly. No power in the final pass forward. Bonner, White, Alex Scott.
They're obviously not trusting Sue Smith with picking player of the match. That's twice Faye's picked player of the match.
Made away by Errol. Because of the Super League, the English women are professional in terms of money they get from the Super League. The maximum wage there is about 20 grand, and then they get their FA Central contract as well. Jill Scott. It means they can earn a living out of football. It means they can train full time, and already we're seeing the difference here 12 months on.
Because they always used to do, your own physical training, your own time, but actually training with the ball just improves you dramatically in terms of your technical ability and ability to deal with the ball.
Williams with a cross into the middle. That's a decent enough header away there by Sybil Dumen. Morton. Jordan Nobbs. Jill Scott. Duggan's made the run outside. Well played. Dumen comes across. He's been Turkey's best player by a mile. Natasha Dowie. Jordan Nobbs. Good thinking, too quick for her teammate Jill Scott. Fatma Shaheen, it would have been 11 or 12 for England. Maybe that record scoreline would have been on. Bonner came and claimed. Carriganch. Alex Scott. Jill Scott from Williams. England have done that well. Here's Bronze. Work the ball into space. Skinned the ball back alive there. Jill Scott. Williams. And then winding up for another one. Flicked over by the excellent Fatma Shaheen.
It's more of a floating effort there by Farrah Williams. Again, Goalkeeper was equal to it. Great touch to the side. Farrett, left foot, either foot.
Turkey are preparing to make a substitution, but they're going to have to wait.
Is that an extreme case of cramp? It looks like it. Extreme reaction, anyway.
I think it is only cramp. It may well change their ideas on a substitution.
I think that the ridiculous amount of stretcher bearers have come on. If I was the one laid on the floor, I would think, how heavy do they think I am? 6 or 7 of them. Took to one side. Oh, she twisted her knee.
Oh, twisted her knee.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, Etienne who's going to go off. And I actually believe they were thinking of making that substitution anyway. The substitute is substituted by Elif Dennis, or will be any moment now. There she is. Comes from the Black Sea area. Playing against Wales at under 19 level a couple of years back. Always have your say about this game at BBC Sport, #BBC Football. Strange on that, the way she was lifting her leg up would suggest, you know, looked as if she did have cramp.
I think if you've got quite a bad knee injury, you don't tend to fling your legs around, so I'm interested to see what is the matter. I'm not taking any chances though.
So Elif Deniz will come on. She played in 3 of the European 2013 qualifiers. Finished bottom of their group. Late substitution then by Turkey, 8-0 down. With a couple of minutes of stoppage time, I would imagine. Farah Williams will take this corner kick. Now he's in at the near post. Side netting. I've just heard that Tony Duggan is player of the match. Good. A rare touch of the ball for Siobhan Chamberlain. He's the 4th official, Lisa Rashid. Shows 5 minutes of stoppage time. Alex Scott, one of those buccaneering runs that she loves. Into White. They're queuing up in the middle. Deftly got back. And it's just over the bar by Duggan, looking for a 4th of the night.
Some sort of effort to a second goal. He has that technique mastered. Ball just bounced to it, only just over the top there. Had an excellent night.
Deftly, Gundogan. Scott has it again, and White pushing out to the touchline to give her an option there. Jill Scott. Alex Scott. Picks out Jordan Nobbs, did brilliantly. Blocked bravely by Sybil Duman. Here's Bronze. Definitely with a challenge. It's an England throw-in. Doesn't been able to get on the ball as much as Turkey might have wanted her to. Experience definitely. Here she is when she's had it. She's been very deep. She's got herself into trouble there. Mara Williams by far the stronger. Had an excellent game.
She's always steady in terms of how often she gets on the ball, and she just pulls the strings for England. Really experienced, pops up in the right places and knows how to play other people in.
Williams with it into the box. Flags up. Little push on Sybil Dooman, I think. Duggan was in there. Dowie was in there as well. Duggan got there first though, with his skill, crowd like that. Horton, Bronze. Some wink for the Liverpool girls if they can, off the back of this, pick up the Super League title, mind you. Siobhan Chamberlain will have other thoughts on the Bristol goal at the weekend. They've had a tremendous campaign, whatever happens. This is Duggan, thinks that Jordan Nobbs is always going to skate away, too much weight on the pass. So your overall thoughts then, Lucy, at the end of what has been another emphatic England victory?
Yeah, really positive. I think they started the World Cup qualifying campaign as they mean to go on. England introduced a couple of young players who I'm sure will be mainstays throughout the qualifying campaign, and job done really. 3 points on Saturday, 3 points tonight, and lots of goals. It can only bode well for the future.
Here's Bronze, Dowie's in the middle. White may well keep it in. Alex Scott is in support. Jill Scott's made an ambling one into the middle. Alex Scott with the cross, high. Keeper under pressure. And hit Natasha Dowie last. It's glanced away. Well, he's done all he can to get the England job permanently in his 2 games in charge. He's reignited the team, he's got them hungry. And England have won for the 2nd time in the week for Brent Hills, the caretaker coach. They have beaten Turkey by 8-0 with a hat-trick from Duggan, 2 for Aluko, 2 for Ellen White, 1 for Natasha Dowie. It was a super performance again by England against poor opposition defensively. You can only beat what goes in front of you, and England have beaten